Hello and welcome back to my channel, Population Me, and you are on the floor with Miracle. This is a segment I do on this channel where I just sit here and I talk or I go over things that I do that I don't like to really do in the moment. But also, I started this today, even though I've done it in the past, only because I did not do an intro for my video. So, this is my intro. But hello, welcome back. This is a slightly different setup that you're seeing, though not really. It is still my floor, but in a slightly different angle. So, in my opinion, this is a whole new room. Hello, welcome to my new room. But today I went to a new comedy club in Chicago, and I'm just kind of here to talk about it because, first off, I've never been to a comedy club in Chicago, which is like a shocker because we have a huge Comedy Central place. We have the Second City, the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Bar, all these amazing places for comedy, and I've literally never went to any of them in my entire life because I'm just not I'm not sure if I'm ever the target audience, if that makes sense. Like I have very Gen Z humor. It's kind of brain rot in a sense, but I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't laugh at the jokes they would have and I'll just sit there looking awkwardly, laughing along just because I have to, not because I want to. And I rather just watch a Netflix special that has the best jokes combined in one because we all know they work. And usually at comedy clubs they try out their jokes. And I just didn't want to be there for 2 hours listening to someone try out jokes. It's a bit rude, I know, but I would rather be at home. But anyway, I just thought to myself, why not just go outside, do something again? The weather is pretty nice, which is not good, I think, because it is literally December 18 and the weather is literally 50 degrees and it shouldn't be. Last week it was all in the 20s, but hey, listen, global warming is gonna global warm. But I heard it's gonna rain this Friday, so we will see. And if it doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you. No White Christmas, which we haven't had in years. But anyway, to get into it, I basically went to the comedy bar, and it's basically like up north in Chicago downtown. So I basically left, took an Uber because obviously I'm not taking a bus. I could have, but it would have been an hour. So I was just like kind of seeing the sides, the little lights. You see clips here and there about all the little pretty lights they did. It was next to the Magnificent Mile, so it was very, very cute. And if I could afford to live in that building or at least in the surrounding buildings, I would honestly do it just for like a few months. I'll do it for like 6 months just to like have the experience, have the little influencer life, and then leave because I don't want to be there for very long. I can't. But I get there, right? And it's on the third floor of a restaurant. So it's pretty good, I think. So I have to go up these three flights of stairs, which already I'm like, okay, you're not a basement. Oh, for reference, I went to the comedy bar. It was the only one that wasn't like a two-drink minimum pay. Because usually we go to like the Laugh Factory, they do like a two-drink minimum, which is fair, it's fine. But if I'm just drinking water, I don't really want to get two bottles of water and then pay like 20 bucks for it. So I don't really go to them just because I just have a special. I'll watch it on Netflix for 12.99, I guess. I don't know. Point of the matter is, I go to this comedy bar and there's not a lot of people there, and I'm not exactly on time. It started at 7:30. I'm there at like 7:45. So I'm sitting there. The main host, Vic Pignagna. I'll put the right spelling somewhere so you can know at least what I butchered. But basically, he is the host of this club, but also one of the comedians who watch the jokes as well. And I think he has a Netflix special. I could be wrong, but he's on TV, which is pretty cool because I went to this comedy club for like free 99 and no drink minimum. So I thought that was pretty sweet of him to do this for us. But there's like a max 30 people, and it doesn't look like they can really sit a lot of people to begin with. So I sit in like the back row because there's no one there. And I was like, you know what? I'll be alone. I'll have a table. It'd be great. It'd be lovely. And you can order food there, order drinks. It's a usual comedy club. So he says a few jokes. He does his little spiel, for 10, 20 minutes. And I'm having a great time. I'm like, it feels kind of like personal in a way. It's not like a huge room of people. They're not like roasting people in the front. They're just having fun with them. It's like an author in the front row, so they're like talking about his book and they make jokes about it, which is so hilarious to me because I like crowd work, but I don't want to be a part of it because I just don't. I just could never be a butt at someone's jokes. I would laugh, but I'll go home crying. It would just not be a good look. So I don't do that. But I sit in the back Still can see everything. I brought my glasses because you know me in real life, I never do. And after that, they bring on different comedians. They just go through their set. They do a little crowd work. It's really funny, honestly. Like it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. And at my first comedy club, I really expected them to like have half jokes be real, half the jokes be, let me try out this material because once again, this is a free comedy bar. It's not exactly getting paid in money. They're probably getting paid in like exposure, or I guess through Vic. He is the host, but essentially each of them go through a little routine. They do little jokes for like 5 minutes. A red light goes off. That's when they know they have like a minute or left to do stuff. And then once they're done, they do a little like talk show with the host, which is Vic. They sit there and they just like go through like, oh, why are you in Chicago? Do you have anything to plug? The standard thing you see on TV that would be a talk show plus a comedy show. So then they go through and a whole other person comes in and they just do the same thing for like the next hour. And honestly, I'm having a great time. The jokes are really funny. Some of them are a bit crass. Like there was this one mother who went up there and she talked about how she had two kids who were teenagers and how she just wanted to like not have them around so she could do stuff for her husband. And I was just sitting there like, oh my God, I see why this club is 18 plus. I was like, oh my God, the jokes are so funny. But I was just like, wow, I don't have clips of her jokes because I was like, I don't know if I can record this part of her joke segment, but they were really good. I really did enjoy them. But throughout the show, I was drinking. I had one. I'm not sure what his drink is, but it's called a Punchline, which is pretty cool. It had like orange, pineapple, and like I don't know what the alcohol was. I forgot, but probably vodka. It was strong. It was actually pretty good. I couldn't finish it. So I have like the before and after photo of like how I drank it. I drank like literally half of it and I was there for 3 hours and I could not finish it. I was like, I should just ordered water. But it was so good. It just wasn't for me. But I had a dessert there as well, which is really nice because their kitchen was still open. Since we were on top of a restaurant, they were still ordering food. So I got like this brownie lava cake thing that had ice cream on top and it was delicious. I'm pretty sure it was a two serving type of meal because they gave me two spoons, but I was clearly by myself. So I thought, you're trying to tell me something, but I ignored it. I ignored it. I ignored the second spoon. I ate it up. I thought the plate was edible. Don't ask me why, but anyway, it was delicious. It was yum. Did not take an after photo, but just imagine I finished it because I did. It was the only thing I finished that wasn't the drink. But anyway, after an hour go by, there's these comedians, there's like five or six of them. Not all of them are from America. Some of them are from the UK who came back to Chicago for the holidays or are doing a like stand up tour in America, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought like, oh, I get to see your material before you go on the big stage. That's like really nice. And then they posted like their Instagram handle on a big screen. And then after that first hour, then Vic announced that they're gonna do like I guess these newer comedians who are just trying out to work for one of the few times they had a chance to. So this basically gave new people to like give their stand up to like the stage. So he called like six or seven of them. One of them didn't show up. I don't know what happened. He just never did. So they just went from like three people to go through to two people. But in total, it was like six, seven people. They each read from their book or from their phone. They gave the little jokes they had. Some of them landed. I would say 40% didn't land. But it wasn't them. It was just their material. Maybe we were not the right audience. I feel like if it was more than like 20 or 30 people in the actual audience, more people would have laughed. I would say that. But I would say they did kind of fluff up the audience a little bit. And I did not realize this until like I was basically seeing the newer comedians go through and I realized, wow, those comedians were in the actual audience and they were sitting like close to me. So I like thought, oh, wow, we're all having a great time. People are really cracking up. There's people laughing their heads off. And I'm like, oh, this jokes must be a lot funnier than I thought because I thought the jokes were okay, right? But then people would be like bellowing, and I'm like, oh, must be your type of joke, you know? Only to see them go on stage. So then I'm like, okay. They wanted to fluff up the audience, which is fair. I understand. If you only have like 30 people and it's a comedy club, you don't want the comedian to think not only is a joke not funny, but no one's here for them. So obviously, the people who are there are gonna have people in the audience who not all of them are audience members, right? Which is fair. I get the hustle. It gets them exposure. We all get to see them, and they all came to support each other, which was very sweet of them. But they go through their jokes. It was really nice. Some of them didn't land. I like the personalities. There's like this one girl who's like 21. She talked about how she like dropped out of school and she had like no purpose in life. And I was like, what the heck are we talking? It was like almost like trauma dumping, but as a joke. And I was like, to be fair, some of that really do bring my type of humor. Like South Korean humor is crazy, but it goes hard. It goes hard. So she was my audience. I did laugh at her jokes. Her jokes were good. But some jokes flew over people's heads. They did not know what they were like people were talking about. And I was just like, yeah. You can tell that there's like different demographic. There was like 18-year-olds there. There were like elder people there. So everyone was just there, but some jokes landed with some people and other jokes landed with two people, and it was a whole thing. But really, after that, we had like a little time to like talk to them and see how they were. They couldn't like do a little talk show portion with them individually because it was a fast pace and we had like an hour left or whatever. But more people were just leaving at that point. Like there was a table right next to me that kept ordering pizza, which I was like, I should have done that too. I wanted pizza so bad after I ate the brownie, but I didn't order pizza. And they just started leaving. And then like the one of the biggest groups in the room. So I was like, well, there goes a good portion of the audience. But they were pretty cool and it was really nice. And Vic gave his little closing speech. And apparently he has a little talk show happening again in Chicago in January, which I thought like, oh, okay. And then he said he had new material, which we could get if we followed him on Instagram, of course, of course. How else would they give me a free ticket? But he was like, "Oh, just like text me, let me know you came, so I give you a free ticket." And I'm in my head like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I'm gonna remember, and then I don't know if I want to text you on Instagram, like slide into your DMs to get a free ticket. So honestly, it depends on how desperate I am in January for a joke only. Thank you. But yeah, that was really my experience. And honestly, I couldn't finish that drink. I could not. It was good, but I just don't like alcohol like that. And it had a strong taste. And I was like, it was very sweet, but that's my drank really fast. I was like, oh, I taste like vodka straight. And I was like, oh, that's weird. But I drank like half of it. It was really good. The comedy bar was really nice. I walked down this 3 flights of stairs, which I didn't realize they had like light up neon. Look in their eyes, cries we can't. So Fred swims over, Fred gets close. So Cindy swims over, Cindy gets close. They let go of the sky. They let go of their fear. They want their claws together. On like graffiti on the wall, and I was like, how did I not see this the first time? It was like everywhere. It's on the ceilings, on the floor, it was on the wall. I was like, oh my god, like all three down floors, three down the stairs and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. I love that for them. I mean, it's very pretty. It could tell you where exactly. Like it told me comedy bar, so I was like, okay. But we're on top of a restaurant, which was funnier. But anyway, after that, it was just a great time. I honestly didn't mind it. It was like 2.5 hours, I think, and I got there a little bit later, so they were just still talking to the host during that time. So I think overall, I really did enjoy it. But I go again? Um, I would say yeah. I think the Uber there was like $20, and it was a share, and the Uber back was a mishap because I don't know what happened to me, but this Uber experience could be a whole nother story, but it's really just a quick story. I don't know what was going on, but after I left the comedy bar, I walked around downtown because, as I said, the weather was like nice. It was good enough to walk, right? And it was like 9:30 ish, almost 10. So around this time, I was just like walking around. I was like up north. I was like in the downtown, so I wasn't like in Locust Square or anything. I was like where um is Sugar, if you guys know, or whatever. I don't know. It's where Is Sugar is. I don't know where that is. Where the water tower is in downtown. But I walked around. I walked all the way down to Millennium Park. There's a video of me walking north towards a big ass tree, right next to their ice rink, and people were there. They were playing Christian music, which I thought was really funny because I was like, they don't do that ever. So I was like, oh, who's controlling the radio back there? But that was pretty cool. And I just kept walking down and I called an Uber because it's been like 30 minutes. I'm just doing a little walkie walk. I thought it would be a nice little workout after that big ass brownie I ate by myself for two people. It was kind of eye opening how big it was. But essentially, I called an Uber, right? And it's like a red, I don't know what kind of car model. It's like a red six seater. That's all I know, right? and I'm ordering this Uber. I'm waiting 7 minutes. Da, da, da. This is all important. I did not record any part of this because I didn't expect it to be such a hassle. I just thought, oh, I'll wait 7 minutes, get in my Uber, go home, right? Thought it was that simple. So then my Uber comes, it is saying it's coming in 3 minutes, right? And I'm like a block and a half away from where it's gonna pick me up because for some odd reason it wouldn't just go straight to me. I was still in downtown, so I assume it just had like local places to go. So I just started walking. I'm like, okay, in 3 minutes I'll get there in like a block and a half. I'll walk slow, whatever. And then I get there, and as I'm pulling up to my location, I read that exact, like the exact, well, not exact model, but like the look of the car is very similar to the picture on Uber. It's a red car, six-seater. I guess it's my Uber, right? And by the way, I usually 99% of the time, I always check the license plate. I never just be like, oh, I'm walking this car. It must be mine. Because usually the car isn't red. It's not a color that is uncommon. And I just don't know if people be Ubers. So I got to make sure the license plate is literally mine. But it's one time I don't check it because I'm like, oh, I walked up, and as I'm walking to a spot within a minute, my Uber comes. And I'm thinking, it must be mine. There's no other car that's in the street. I'm in downtown, yes, but there's the streets are empty, right? No one's really here. And it's like, what, like a Monday, a Wednesday? So I'm like, it's a weekday. No one's here. So I literally go into this car and it says a name. I don't know what he said. So I said, yeah, sure. Because I'm in my head like, it's kind of cold out here. I've been walking for 30 minutes. I want to get home, right? I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I'm half asleep in this car and it's like 10 p.m. I'm like, let me go home, right? I get into this Uber because I'm thinking to myself, must be mine. It pulled up right when I walked. I know I should have checked the license plate, but the one time I don't, this happens. So I just thought, okay, cool. So I get into this Uber. It pulls off immediately. And I'm like, perfect, great. And my phone is telling me, okay, you're here and you're in the Uber, da da da. You got a co-writer, and I'm like, oh, okay, co-writer, cool, because I did get share. And I go on, and then this Uber driver gets a phone call, and I'm like ignoring it because I'm not trying to be all in his business. And someone's like, "You didn't pick me up. You didn't pick me up." And I'm like, "Oh, it must be the co-writer. It must be the co-writer." And long story short, it was not the co-writer. It was a literal Uber driver. Apparently, he didn't know that I wasn't the actual. I didn't know either, but it's like, yeah, we didn't know that we were not each other's ride, or he wasn't my driver. So he had to go back, and mind you, he was already like blocks away. Like he was like not halfway. He was still in downtown, but he was like less north. He was more south to my home, and he literally had to turn back and get back in there. And I was just like, "You're not my Uber driver? What the heck?" I was like kind of flabbergasted because I was like, "This never happens to me ever. Like I've never went to the wrong car before that pulls. I mean, granted, I check license plate usually, but the few times I never check a license plate, I always still get my Uber. And I was just like, wow, this would happen the day I was recording stuff for like the comedy club. So I just thought, oh wow, what a perfect video story. I'm fine, I'm safe, obviously. He basically gets the right person. Apparently he wasn't even a share like Uber driver. So I was like, okay, I'll just pick another driver then. And apparently mine's left me. But the thing is, they never texted me to tell me that they were here. So I never knew I was in the wrong Uber the entire time, which is kind of insane. And I know it was like my fault, whatever, I know. But in my head, I'm like, I always get a text from an Uber driver to be like, hey, I'm here. Where are you? Every single time. Even if they just pull up to my place, they're like, okay, I'm here to hurry me up. I don't know. I mean, it's smart, right? I don't be checking the window. But this one time, they don't tell me anything. I just don't see anything. The only notification I get is that they drove off. And I was like, uh, did you even, like, did you come? Like, I had to check the app to be like, oh, this wasn't even my Uber. My driver is still there. But nothing outside of that told me anything. So I was like, oh, damn. So that was like a whole fiasco. The driver is fine. He got like his right person. Apparently, he's not a share. He's just a regular Uber X, which I thought was kind of interesting because I was like, huh, you're the exact same car model as my actual Uber driver. So then after that, I ordered another Uber. It took another 10 minutes and then it canceled on me for some reason. And I had to get another Uber. And I went home around like 11:30, which is fine. I live. It's fine. It's a share. I could have taken a bus, but it would take me an hour. I want to get home as quickly as possible. But even with all that, it doesn't really deter my experience because honestly, it was kind of funny because I never knew that I could have that kind of Uber experience. I know it could be worse. It could have been worse, but to mix up your driver with a whole nother car that looks exactly the same is one in a million for me, I think. But all that to say, the comedy club, I would give it like an 8 out of 10. Honestly, the food was great. The meal was great. Like the seatings were great. You can still see the stage, even if you're in the back of a table or in the front of the table, yada yada. The jokes, not all of them landing, kind of gave it a lower score than usual. But the host was really funny. He played off jokes really well, so you knew he was a real comedian. But would I go again? I think I would, honestly. Maybe I would try Laugh Factory again because I didn't want to do it because I thought 2 drinks minimum, honestly, was just too much. It's like, oh, 2 drinks minimum, but the jokes won't be funny. Of course, I need a drink to like understand the joke. Like, no, you don't. Even when I was drinking, I was never like tipsy. 'Cause I didn't drink all of it. But anyway, I'll just say 8 out of 10 experience. I think that was pretty good. I mean, that's all I have to say for it. I would do it again, honestly, and probably not record it because why would I record another comedy club? But this is going to be like more or less a series on my channel, I think. Not really a series, but I need a series to do. So this is going to be like, I don't know what it's called, trying things out. I don't know what it's called. If you know this YouTuber called Swell Entertainment, she's amazing. I love her videos. I've been watching her videos for years, but she basically tries out like different conventions. She goes to like different concerts. She tries out different products of like influencers and stuff, and she just tests them out and let you know like her truth and if she would ever buy it with her own money. Oh, she did buy it with her own money. And I think it's usually sponsored by her, but she usually goes out and try these things out and tells you her experience, lets you know if it was worth it or if it was a scam or anything like that. And I thought it was pretty cool. So I was like, I usually go out to these places that I don't ever go out to anyway. So it would be nice to like do it again, because I don't go out a lot, as you know, as I only tell you in every video. So I think it'll be a nice little thing to do this year is this year plus next year because this year's over. But if you're watching this in the future, hi, welcome. It's me from 2024. But I would like to do like, oh, trying. I'm gonna find a title. It's not gonna be Try Guys. It might, I don't know what it's gonna be called. Honestly, I won't call it anything. I'll just call it my experience because let's be lazy with it. But yeah, I give it 8 out of 10. Would I try it again? Yes, I would, but maybe not anytime soon because honestly, the weather will go back to being ass, and I'm not trying to go and try that out for any time soon. So, but anyway, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.